Grace, mercy, hope, peace, and joy be to you from God our Father, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Brothers and sisters, as we get closer to celebrating the birth of our Savior, we focus on Jesus being that light of the world. We have in our sermon text that we've had for these last number of weeks, and we'll have also through the week after Christmas, the emphasizing what happened in a situation involving a man who was blind. And we've had in the last 2 weeks, we've covered actually describing, we're using the word light, L-I-G-H-T, to kind of use as the basis for what the theme for the Sunday, for that sermon is. The theme being the first Sunday we use the T, L-I-G-H-T, to stand for time. That Jesus, as we go through the beginning of our text again, as we get into that story, Jesus comes, he has time in this world. His time was to bring light to the world in his ministry. Everything in our life has to do with the time Jesus spent in his ministry in earning our salvation. And then we also talked about T standing for, as we stand in the light of Jesus, the time that we are to have. And we talked about our life is about quantity. Not just to have quality means to have quantity. So that, Lord, I want everything in my life. I want that to be in your light. And what does it mean to be in the light of Jesus? It means, Lord, that I walk, you have shown me the way of salvation. Everything I know, everything that we have, everything even lights on a Christmas tree, candles on an altar are to show that Jesus, you are the light of the world and I need you. And everything that you reveal to me in the Word. And also the idea of being in the light, the Bible talks about when I'm in the light, I have God's holiness. I have that purity that comes through faith. I have joy in knowing that my sins are forgiven. All of those things tie into making our celebration of Christmas something significant. And also then when we talked about last week that I, L-I-G-H-T. And we talked about, Lord, help me to be able, the I, for me to see. We're talking about that blind man. So it was a couple double of eyes there. I, myself, see, and we emphasized my spiritual blindness. Because if we look at the end of the lesson of John chapter 9, the Pharisees, the religious leaders were talking about, oh, they thought they could see. They thought they had everything they needed spiritually. And Jesus reminded them, and he reminds us, I need to be spiritually blind. That is, my own goodness, my own righteousness. Lord, I can't see you. I don't have salvation unless I recognize my sin, which is why Jesus came in the first place, and everything part of his ministry. And today we want to emphasize another letter, and that is the G in light, L-I-G. And the emphasis of that is G. Go. Go with the light of Christmas. Every one of us in our lives, Lord, help us to go with that light. And what does it remind us? It reminds us to remain or stay in the light. Lord, I want to stay in the light with everything that I have. And then also, we're reminded that we want to be able to shine that light. I stay in that light, I remain in that light, Jesus, and I shine that light no matter what. All right. If you have in your bulletin, you can see that there is the text that we have in your insert. You can see that and follow it through. And obviously, we don't have time to go verse by verse through this. But for those that have not been here, we'll read the beginning part of the text and we'll work through it as well. And emphasizing again, as I said, look at the opportunities for go. For us to go with the light of Christmas and being able to stay in the light and then also being able to shine that light. I stay in Jesus and I shine that light. John chapter 9 starts out this way. As he went along, he saw a man blind from birth. His disciples asked him, Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Neither this man nor his parents sinned, said Jesus, but this happened so that the works of God might be displayed in him. As long as it is day, we must do the works of him who sent me. Night is coming when no one can work. That's what we talked about time. While I am in the world, I am the light of the world. After saying this, he spit on the ground, made some mud with his saliva, and put it on the man's eyes. Go, he said, wash in the pool of Siloam, the word means sent, talked about seeing our earthly blessings as well. His neighbors and those who had formerly seen him begging asked, "Isn't this the same man who used to sit and beg?" Some claimed that he was. Others said, "No, he only looks like him." But he himself insisted, "I am the man." "How then were your eyes opened?" they asked. He replied, "The man they called Jesus made some mud and put it on my eyes. He told me to go to Siloam and wash. So I went and washed, and then I could see." "Where is this man?" they asked him. "I don't know," he said. Okay. As we think about those two ideas of going, and I want to remain in the light, and I want to, or stay in the light and shine that light. Even the beginning of this. Here's this man. Just think of where he was. He starts out, he doesn't really know who Jesus even is. So just think of where he is as we go along. Here's this blind man. He starts off, this is Jesus. He's some man that he doesn't really, is not aware of. And you can see what he did though. What did he do? He followed what Jesus told him to do. He obeyed it. And that's one way for us to be able to say, "Lord, help me to shine. Help me to shine in everything that I do in your light. If Jesus tells me to do something, if Jesus wants me to believe something, I do it." The man did it. He listened, he went to the pool, he washed, and he saw. Lord, help us to do that. Just say, "Lord, I love you. I want to follow you. I want to shine with you by holding to what your word says." But what's interesting, isn't it? We'll never know. We don't know the story. What would have happened? What happened after that man began to see? Did people around, after he washed himself out, did the people right around there, did they know something? Did they say something? Well, we don't know. But the man starts to have to testify then. He got back to his neighbors, as we heard, and those who had seen him be the beggar. And they start to, are you really the one who was blind and was healed? And right there he starts. He starts to tell them, yes. All right, you're saying that's not a big deal. But he starts to say, yes, it was me. Even if people started to doubt, it was me. So people start to question. And that really is, as we go in, as he is staying firm. He's staying firm in what he believes about Jesus, and the heat's going to get ratcheted up. And watch how that man stays firm as he goes with Jesus. And also, he has an opportunity to shine. He starts to confess who Jesus is. Now we continue on with our text and our story, or the account from John chapter 9, from verse 13. They brought to the Pharisees the man who had been born, who had been blind. Okay. Pharisees, remember, religious leaders, wanted strict keeping of the law, which was good, except they added things on to the law, and they were more concerned about the outward appearance rather than what's in the heart. So they corrupted the teaching. They had the wrong thing to be right with God, just outwardly doing things, and focus on the outward rather than what was on the heart. And remember, after all, they wanted to murder Jesus. So these are the Pharisees wanting to murder Jesus, and they had already decided, as you'll hear in a second, whoever believes in Jesus as the Messiah, they're out of the synagogue. We're excommunicating them. So they bring them to the Pharisees, which makes sense because something miraculous has happened. Let's go to the religious leaders. It makes sense. How did this have happened? So they bring them to the Pharisees. Now the day in which Jesus had made the mud and opened the man's eyes was the Sabbath. Okay. Even the religious leaders had made a number of rules, including God said don't work on the Sabbath day. And so, unfortunately, over time, there were rules that were developed that even probably, unless somebody's life was in danger, you don't do any work. You don't show anything of mercy even on the Sabbath day. Which Jesus tried to teach throughout his ministry, that the Sabbath day was meant for man, not man for the Sabbath. The man was not created to follow the Sabbath rigidly in the sense of you can show mercy. God didn't want you not to show mercy, which the Pharisees had gotten so far away from that. And so here the Pharisees, now Jesus having having made that mud, Jesus is working. So why are you working on the Sabbath day, Jesus? Now that doesn't boil up and spill up in this instance, but it was another point of contention. So it's on the Sabbath day that Jesus is there. Perform such signs, so they were divided. Then they turned again to the blind man. What have you to say about him? It was your eyes he opened. The man replied, he is a prophet. Okay, you know what the situation is. Here's the Pharisees. They had made up the mind, Jesus, he's not the Messiah. But now the elephant in the room is, there's a guy who was blind and can now see. So what are we going to do? Earlier in Jesus' ministry, the Pharisees were accusing Jesus of being able to do things. Oh, he's working for Satan. Satan's helping him to cast out demons. What are they going to say? They're divided. There are some saying, boy, what do we do here? The man is a sinner, and the idea not being that he never sinned, but a sinful lifestyle. Here is someone who we know is a sinner. He's making claims that he can't back up. The man's out of his mind. No way is he the Messiah. He's living a sinful lifestyle. He's not doing all the things that we tell him to do. He's doing things on the Sabbath day. The man's got a sinful lifestyle. But there's a blind man here who sees. Go with the light of Christmas. Being able to stay in the light, follow Jesus no matter what, and say, Lord, you will bless me. And then being able to shine him to others. So it started to ratchet up. Now, what do you think the blind man's going to do? Is he going to cave? Is he going to say, okay, I don't want to get in the middle of this because I know the Pharisees are not going to be that particularly thrilled with Jesus, and so I'm just going to duck out. So what do the Pharisees do? They say, we know he was born blind, but how he can see now, or who opened his eyes, we don't know. They ask him. He is of age. He will speak for himself. His parents said this because they were afraid of the Jewish leaders who were already decided that anyone who acknowledged that Jesus was the Messiah would put him out there, would be put out of the synagogue. That is why his parents said, he is of age, ask him. So the parents dodged the question. They're not going to shine this Jesus based on what his son says, what their son says. So they dodged the question. How about for us? Even with relatives. When relatives don't go with, and we go with Jesus, and we shine Jesus, there are going to be relatives that want no part of what we believe. There'll be ones who doubt. There'll be ones who take a neutral position. God help us simply say in a loving way, this is what we believe, and you need to see this light as well, and that is our prayer. If the blind man can stand up, well, does he stand up? Well, let's see what happens. As the parents now leave, does the man cave in and kind of say, oh yeah, I agree with my parents, I don't really know what it is, I'm an adult, yes, but let's see what he says. A second time, they summoned the man who had been blind. Give glory to God by telling the truth, they said. We know this man is a sinner. So he, the ex-blind man, replied, whether he's a sinner or not, I don't know. One thing I do know, I was blind and now I see. Then they asked him, what did he do to you? How did he open your eyes? He answered, I have told you already, and you did not listen. Why? Do you not want to hear it? Why do you want to hear it again? Do you want to become his disciples too? Oh, now he gets a little sarcastic. You want to be a disciple? Now, just follow the blind man. Here's Jesus, a man. Now he's thinking he's a prophet, and I'm not sure about the whole sinful thing yet. All I know that I've seen, why don't you take what I'm saying? Can you imagine how he's getting himself into hot water? He is now openly saying, I don't care what you guys say, this is what I know, and this is what was accomplished, and this is what I believe. And he's putting himself up, you know, he's even sounding like he wants to be one of his disciples. And you know, that's kind of leading it to where we'll be having, it'll be on Christmas Eve, we'll hear the rest part of the story about that blind man. But he comes on, he's now getting close to a disciple. So what do the Pharisees do? What do the Pharisees do? As we hear in our text. Then they hurled insults at him and said, you are this fellow's disciple. We are disciples of Moses. We know that God spoke to Moses, but as for this fellow, we don't even know where he came from. We don't know what authority he has, which is kind of ironic too. Jesus had been saying he's the bread from heaven. He had been talking about these things, and yet now they say, well, where? We don't even know where this guy came from, which is ironic, talking about, as we say, the virgin birth, and where Jesus actually did come from being true God. And they insult him. Here he is. He stays firm. He remains in Jesus' light no matter what. Now they're insulting him. And they're going to kick him out. They're going to kick him out of the synagogue. Who are you? And you know what? Not only